I'm Coach Corey Wayne, and this is my video coaching newsletter. And the topic of today's newsletter is going to be subtle mistakes ruin attraction. Now, when I look at guys, obviously I got a really good email here from a guy, but in general, looking at the things that men do in relationship that ruin attraction, or maybe to a girl they're talking to or a girl they're dating, the thing I've learned over the years is most guys are just absolutely clueless. They don't even recognize or realize when they're doing and saying things that turn women off. Give you an example. When you meet a woman, and maybe it's somebody you know, maybe she's somebody that kind of comes in and out of your office, and she knows that you like her, and you can tell that she likes you, and you can tell that there's a physical, romantic connection there, but yet day after day goes by, week after week goes by, and you never pull the trigger or ask her out. She's just automatically, after a short period of time, going to figure, you know what, this dude has absolutely no confidence, because if he did, he'd ask me out. And when you talk to enough women and ask them, there's been plenty of studies and polls that have been done, when women come up with the top list of qualities that they want in a man, the number one, number two most important quality is confidence. And so if you meet a woman and you feel attraction for her, but you're too afraid or you're too gun-shy to pull the trigger and ask her out because you're afraid of being rejected, or you're afraid you're going to look stupid, or you don't know what to say, whatever happens to be, if she can tell you like her and obviously she likes you, but yet you don't do anything about it, then it communicates that you don't have the confidence to do anything about it. So when you finally do get the nerve to ask her out, she's already deemed you to be an unworthy match, because she could tell if you really were good with women, or if you were confident and you knew what you were doing, you would ask her out and you wouldn't care about any risk of rejection or anything. But that's just one little subtle hint. Other subtle hints are getting impatient and not being okay with when a woman tells you that she's going to call you back and she doesn't, or you leave a message for her and several hours have gone by, or maybe even it's the next day and she hasn't called you. When you become unglued because she hasn't responded in the time that you expect her to, and then you reach out to her again when you're still waiting for her to contact you, this communicates weakness. This communicates insecurity. This communicates neediness. It communicates that you don't know what the hell you're doing, and that you're basically trying to force her to respond to you in a certain way. And the thing that you got to understand about women, and especially the really super fucking gorgeous women, beautiful women, successful women, women that are CEOs of companies, successful models, actresses, some of these women, because they get approached so much and they pretty much can go out with any guy that they want, a lot of times they'll purposely wait to call you back 2 or 3 days. Why? Because most guys won't be able to wait that 2 to 3 days. And she wants to know, is this guy a nut job? Is he a freak? Is he a stalker? Is he one of those guys that would turn into an abusive boyfriend? That kind of thing. And if you talk to enough women and you interview enough women and you've coached enough women over the years like I have, they'll tell you this stuff themselves. They all come up with little tricks and things that they use to determine whether or not you know what the hell you're doing. And if you don't, they're going to get rid of you as soon as possible, because they want to spend as little time interacting with potential needy stalker guys as possible, because obviously they don't want anything to do with those kind of guys, because the guys make it awkward, and obviously they get concerned about their own safety. And so what most guys are doing, even though they're really good guys, they get impatient and they don't understand what they're doing, and so they say things and they do things that communicate their unworthiness, and it just causes women to feel uncomfortable and back away, and it ruins any attraction, and these guys never knew what was going on. So I got an email here from a guy who has a woman, I guess, I don't know if she's like some kind of sales rep or account executive, that, she comes to his office, and anyways, he at some point assumes that she's into him. And then when he waits, in my opinion, he waits way too long to ask her out on a date or anything. This is like months go by. And And then when he finally does get up the nerve, she starts jerking him around, and then he accuses her of playing games with him. And so he says, this story stretches from last summer to now. This woman at my job just moved here from another state. She's totally out of my league. She's extremely beautiful and highly educated. So she would come to my location on occasions because she had meetings here. When she would see me, she would smile from ear to ear. I mean, she could have just been doing her job. And another thing is, you never say, oh, she's out of my league. You should have the attitude that, even if she's 100 times prettier than I am, I know I'm dating up. I deserve to date up, and I deserve a woman like her. Alpha males, confident males, guys like me who, I think I can get any woman that I want. Obviously, that's not the case, but that's the premise that I always start out at. That it's just a matter of time before she reveals her attraction for me, and obviously I say the things that I know how to say, and it moves her, obviously, to ultimately ending up in the bedroom, because that's the whole point of the mating dance, is to mate, obviously. But, so he says the first time, he says, when she would see me, she would smile from ear to ear. The first time she told me to come to her office for lunch, she did this like 3 times. The first time she said that to you, you should come to my office for lunch, you should have said, great, what day are you free next week? I'm jammed up this week, but, when are you free next week? And I'll come by your office for lunch, we'll hang out, or we'll go grab a drink, or whatever it happens to be. You should have made a date right there on the spot, and see what happened was you hesitated, and you didn't do anything. Plus, you started out, you didn't think you deserved her anyways, or even had a shot. And so, in a way, you kind of were hanging back, which is kind of good, but also, what it sounds like is she's very confident. Obviously, she's very attractive, and so she, usually, for most men, she'll give, at least the confident guys, she'll throw an invitation out there like that, and they'll jump all over it and arrange it to happen. But you just waited way too long to initiate anything. He says, mind you, I had no intentions of going after her. I mean, come on, if she's really that hot, you were thinking about sleeping with her. I was going to admire from a distance, so obviously you admit you liked her. She is out of my league. She started kissing me hello. I thought nothing of it because I have seen her do that to other people as well. That's smart. You should always do things like that and always underrate and just assume it's not as good as you really think it is, or that sign that you think tells you that she's really into you. It's always better to underrate a woman's level of interest. So one day I'm in the hallway and we pass each other. She touches me. It was touching, telling me to come get her. I mean, really? How do you know? What kind of touching was it? So once that happened, I start to go for it because I got the sign I was looking for. Again, I think you obviously waited too long. But so I call her office and talk to her. And she asked me if there was a number I could be reached at. I told her I just got a new number and I don't know it yet. I asked her to give me hers and I'll call or text her later. Here's another thing that's weak. She was right there in front of you, and instead of getting the phone number, you wait. A lot of guys do this shit. They're like, oh, well, I'll just ask her later. Or there's that mutual friend of ours, and I'll get him to get me that, or I'll get her to get me that phone number from the girl I really like. And that's just totally fucking weak. It communicates that you don't have the balls to ask her out in person, so you're trying to minimize risk of rejection by doing it over the phone. Confident guys, they don't give a shit. They're busy. They're movers and shakers. They don't have time to fucking waste. It's like, are you in or you out, honey? Not that you're going to say that to them, but they get right to the point, and they get to, they're direct. Women like that. Women like guys that can be direct because in this particular case, you're not being direct. You like her, but you're beating around the bush too long, and that communicates a total lack of confidence on your part. So now I get the number after patiently chasing her because we work together. You never chase women, dude. There's obviously a lot of other things you probably did that were communicating weakness at this point that you didn't talk about here, but I can tell what happened just by her reaction to you. I call her and she picks up, only because she didn't know the number. Again, I'm not worthy to talk to you. You're treating this girl like she's a celebrity or something. And you never put a woman on a pedestal until she's actually earned it. We talked for like 2 to 3 minutes and that's it. So I'm trying to talk to her and she would barely respond unless I say something extreme. So I tell her I'm starting to look like a fool because it seems my efforts are futile because I'm trying to get to know her, but she is making it extremely difficult. In her response, she says she's been busy and things are starting to settle down now. Usually when a woman says that, she has no interest. I understand because her pops just died and she just moved there. So I leave her alone for 3 weeks. I mean, the thing about her father dying, I mean, this had already happened before you met her. That's irrelevant. You're basically using something to rationalize her behavior. But the fact that you're saying I look like a fool, that right there says I don't understand attraction and I don't understand how to tell when a woman likes me or not. And you're getting frustrated and you're getting pissed off. And that communicates weakness. I mean, right there, you're blowing it right there at a spot by saying shit like that. Alpha males always assume that women want to sleep with them. And when they don't, I think, well, hey, they don't say this, but they think, it's her fucking loss. But what they will say is, hey, give me a call if you change your mind. They always leave the door open. And that's it. You walk away. Nothing else to do. Then she calls my office about some work-related things and then tells me she has something to talk to me about, and it's not work-related. So I call her a few days later. She doesn't pick up or text me back. So I got fed up with the games she was playing and asked her, what's up with the childish games? She dodges it, so she tells me I'm a great guy and all that shit and tells me she only wanted to flirt. She has no interest in me. But her body language says different. She calls me on Valentine's Day to talk about work-related stuff, so now she avoids me when she has no reason to. Well, she has every reason to avoid you because you made her feel awkward. Because she didn't do what you expected, and you're pissed off that she didn't meet your expectations, so you start trying to force things or manipulate her into doing what you want. And women are emotional beings. You cannot manipulate them with logic or reason or give her arguments why she should feel attraction for you or why she should treat you a certain way. Again, a lot of the stuff here you're saying is just totally weak behavior, and that communicates to her, especially a beautiful woman like you're talking about. You just communicate you have absolutely no idea and you're not very successful with women. And women want a guy that's a catch, and obviously you're going out of your way to communicate to her that you're not a catch. He says, I have no problem talking to her like nothing happened, but she is acting weird for no reason. She brought my attraction to a fever pitch, now that she's avoiding me, I want her more. Help me. Well, first you need to read my book, because there's so many things here that you're missing, little subtle signs, and like I said, I can tell you don't know what you're doing. And even if you've read my book, you need to read it again, because I can tell you don't know the information in the pages. It's great to read my videos and articles and stuff, but if you don't know the material, you're going to be making totally unnecessary mistakes here. And so, to make a long story short, you didn't get what you wanted, and then you got angry and you tried to force her and use logic and reason to get her to do what you wanted. And, of course, she just said, I was just flirting with you. And she may have liked you, but you've done so many things to communicate weakness that you've pretty much blown it. So get busy practicing what I teach on other women that you can meet. Start setting dates and forget about this girl. There's nothing to do. If she does contact you or call you in the future, set a date with her. Set a time to meet up for drinks or something like that after work or whatever. And then make a definite date. That's it. But if you don't hear from her, then just assume you probably won't hear from her again because you said she's avoiding you. So that's the best thing you can do. So if you find this message of value, you can show your appreciation by going down to the Wibbia toolbar at the bottom of your screen, which is, if you're watching this video on my website, and click the PayPal donate button and donate any amount that you feel is equal to the value of the information in this video. At the very least, please share this page with all your friends and family by clicking any one of the social network sharing buttons, which are also located on the Wibbia toolbar at the bottom of your screen. And if you have a question that you'd like to ask me, or there's a topic that you want me to cover in a future video newsletter, click the Contact Me tab on the left-hand side of your screen and send me 3 or 4 paragraphs detailing your situation or your questions. And just give me several days to get back to you because I get a lot of email from the internet. Plus, I got to take care of my paying phone coaching customers' emails first. But be patient. I will get back with you.